Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. If you watched till the very end of last week's vlog, you'll know that I have made a decision to stop vlogging. I'm going to stop making vlogs about my daily HVAC adventures on a weekly vlog. When I came back from my long break recently, I did say that this would be a trial period to see if I could still do it. And while it seems I can keep up with my editing schedule, it's proving to be, what's the word? I'm gonna use the word challenging. It's been difficult to take all of the videos that I want to take to make a good vlog when I work in a team. If I work on my own, I find it's a lot easier. In fact, I love bringing guys along with me because it feels like you're with me on the job. I can talk to you and you're kind of there for like moral support. I know you're not there, but it feels like it. So maybe when I work more alone, I will take more videos. I'm also thinking of making some content with the footage that I already have. So they wouldn't really be vlogs anymore. They would be more just like individual separate videos. So we'll see how I do, because at the end of the day, I love making vlogs. I love making content. I love editing videos. And so I hope to bring you some more. Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying that. I do have lots of adventures to take you on today, and I did make a list so I could go through them. So if there's something that sparks your interest or doesn't really interest you, you can skip ahead if you want to. So bear with me, I've got a list. So these jobs are in order of how they went this week. The first one is a Trane blower motor in a really fancy house. Then we replaced 2 fan cycling switches in that condensing unit on the rooftop that we replaced the coil on last week. We also cleaned some washable filters on a makeup air unit. We did a service on 2 15-ton Lennox rooftop units that were just filthy. They were so bad. I go on a bit of a rant about that. Then we took care of that water source heat pump unit replacement that we tried to do last week, but we had those faulty valves, the water shutoff valves. Got that one done this week. A service call where they had no air conditioning, and that was just a blown fuse. And finally, we worked on a third 15-ton Lennox rooftop unit at a different place. This one we found refrigerant leaks on the condenser coil. So if you're ready for HVAC adventures, not like you had a choice, let's go. Today's vlog starts off at a beautiful house. This house actually has 2 separate HVAC systems on either side of it, one on the east and one on the west. I snuck a couple of videos of the inside for you. We've been working on this house for quite a few years, and this room has always been dedicated to a toy train set. And this is one of the only attics that we work in. And as far as attics go, it is such a pleasure to work in this one because you can stand up, there's a lot of space to move, there's platforms to stand on. Check it out, standing on a nice platform. The complaint here was that the AC stopped working and they couldn't feel any air coming out of the grills on one side of the house. Which made sense because the blower motor was not blowing and it caused the entire evaporator to freeze up. I ran downstairs to make sure all of the thermostats on that one side of the house were turned off because it was still trying to cool. Check out this living room, you guys! It's so beautiful, and the trees outside.
24 volts. But the fan ain't running.
Luckily, our local Trane dealer had a spare motor, so we dashed over there and grabbed it and then went right back to replace it. This blower wheel did not come off as easy as the last few have come off for me, and I'm just going to say that it's because Trevor was replacing the motor instead of me. I'm just going to say that. It's not true, but I'll say it. Okay. All right, we got the motor out of its cage. Okay. Now we just got to get that mounting bracket off of the old motor and put onto the new one. Now we flip the whole thing over so I can get to the set screw and tighten that up. Give it a little test spin. Beautiful. I really kind of wish I used my 360 camera for this job because this view is not the greatest, and well, anyway, this is what you guys get.
Am I in on the bottom?
Yeah, you're in. The wiring on these ECM motors can sometimes be a bit overwhelming, but they're literally just plugs that go in one way, so it's not that crazy.
Okay, so thermostat's back on, that's back on. That's back on. She's a going.
Sweet. And voila, we have airflow again. On to the next. Technically, only one of the fan cycling switches is faulty, but because we're going through this, we're going to be proactive and replace both of them. They're right beside each other. My dad's just pumping down the unit so we don't have to recover any of the refrigerant. And these are the two pressure switches. They're right beside each other. And we just have to make a game plan before we get started.
And then this wire goes to the other side of that pressure switch.
Yeah.
Which then also goes into the other pressure switch.
Right.
And then...
And how do we do that if we
This
have
will go back
wires
to the
coming out of
motor.
here? Like we don't have
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
terminals.
That goes onto that side with a Wago.
Mm-hmm.
And then these two join together with a Wago
Yes.
onto this guy here.
Yes. There you go. You got it.
Armed with a plan, Trev's just going to swap those two pressure switches out, and I am going to observe over his shoulder. Here's the faulty switch, the one causing trouble. The dad's just releasing the refrigerant back into the system. Now we're going to check that these things work. Voila, beautiful. At this place, they used to make gluten-free pizza bases for various pizza places around the city. And it is abandoned now. It's been abandoned for the last couple of years. But today we're coming to look at the makeup air filters on the roof. So we're gonna clean them for the next tenant that's coming in. This is a cleaning trifecta. Tri-power, and my little hand pump, and my turbo tank from New Calgon. Well, the filters aren't terribly dirty, but we're gonna wash them anyway. This coil cleaner is so versatile because it's got a built-in degreaser and it's also safe for metals. Actually, they were pretty dirty. Here's one I haven't done yet. It's cleaner. I let that coil cleaner sit for like 5 to 10 minutes and now I'm just rinsing it all off. Ready to go back into the unit. All right, you guys, this next one is a doozy. These two 15-ton Lennox units, first of all, are sitting on the most ridiculous structures. Super dirty condenser coils. You guys should see the filters coming up next. Listen to this V-belt. All right, that's enough of that.
Just put a new one on.
Yeah, no kidding, Dad. Trevor basically had to climb into the unit to replace that V-belt. He had all the fun this week. And now for these horrendous filters. Man, I wish I had my 360 for this job too.
I guess we'll have to go to our stuff first and get rid of all these filters.
Oh, look at that.
So,
Crazy. Cam should see these. Don't worry, I've got a close-up of these filters for you in a little bit. Unreal. I got to do the filters on the first unit, but Trevor did the filters on the second unit. And they're all as bad as each other. Phew, now this poor unit can breathe again. Got a fresh new belt, but we gotta take care of this. Wow. I think it's gonna be hair washing day today. Before you freak out, I did not do much of this without a face mask. Trevor's just gone down to grab me a mask because this is ridiculous. Good thing it's hair washing day. Oh. Thank you so much. Because these units are cooling only, and because we're in fall already, and because the guy does not love to spend money on maintenance, we're just brushing it off today, but we will clean it properly before the next springtime. Alright, that's a major improvement, but it's not perfect. My poor camera. If my face is not dirty, did I even do any work? Trevor just took the last 6 filters out, and they're worse than the ones I took out. Look, you can like literally pull chunks off of this filter. No,
Here's number 6.
oh, they're all so bad. Here's the sun. You're supposed to be able to see the sun or light through a filter, and that is not unreal. Those filters are flabbergasting. These filters were last done in May 2024. The structure that these 2 units are built on is so ridiculous. You need a ladder literally to do this service. Trevor's just checking that all of the condenser fan motors are working. Oh, hey, bud. We have to climb, oh my gosh, look at my face. We have to climb 3 separate ladders to get up onto this roof, and then another ladder to get to the units. This dirt got through my gloves. These wet wipes often come in handy. So, quick story time about those 2 really large Lennox units. They're on top of the roof of a dry cleaner slash laundry place, like a laundry service place. And the story is that back in the day, we've been working there for years now, and back in the day, they had no air conditioning in their space. And each year, summer gets warmer and warmer, and their employees complain more and more about the conditions working in the heat because they've got so many like irons and steamers and washers and everything. Everything makes heat in that place. So their workers were just like, this is unbearable in summertime. So he inquired about having air conditioning installed, I think for 2 years in a row. Then finally he pulled the trigger and he was like, listen, I found these 2 secondhand units that this building is getting rid of. Can we install them? And we advised him against using secondhand units, but he was persistent, especially because of their size. They're really big units. So we were like, okay, we'll install these secondhand units, no problem. He got an engineer involved because we were worried about the weight of these units going onto the roof. And so he got an engineer involved, and the engineer went berserk. Like, you guys saw those structures that they're built on. The engineer came, he built them, and when we arrived to install these units with a crane, we were just like, what has he done? Like, what has he done? Anyway, it was a whole big thing. And so anyway, so now they've got air conditioning and it's much better. So I am so annoyed that this guy put us off. I think technically we should replace those filters every 3 months. So every quarter we should be replacing them because of where the building is located. It's right along a train line. So it's dirty. There's lots of like dust and dirt from the train tracks and everything. But he has decided that he needs an annual maintenance there. So once a year we go change the filters. And you guys, it's not enough because we were there in May last year and we called him again at the beginning of May this year and we were like, it's about time, we should come and change the filters, take a look at those coils, make sure your V-belts are all good, all of that stuff before summertime happens. And he was like, no, I'm good. I don't need my filters changed yet. And so we were kind of taking bets on when he was going to call us. And so yesterday he called us and he was like, so there's a big squealing noise coming from the roof. And so we were like, okay, a V-belt is probably dead, which it was. But the condition of those condenser coils and the filters, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And for the price of replacement filters and for us to go and change them and do a little inspection and make sure everything's working okay versus the cost of new units, considering he didn't want to put new units in there to begin with. We started with secondhand units. Oh my goodness. And I just know that when things go wrong and major components need to be replaced or whatever, he's going to complain. Like, just do the maintenance. Just let us come and do the maintenance because the alternative is so bad.
I ranted all day about that job. We're back in this hazmat tent to change that water source heat pump unit, if you remember from last week's vlog. There's a plumber here. He's brought his liquid nitrogen to freeze the pipes and replace those faulty shutoff valves. It's a really cool process, pardon the pun, but they basically have these little styrofoam cups and they fill it with liquid nitrogen and the pipes freeze and they can do their job. And there's like cold flowing from everywhere. With new working valves, we could get our job done. And of course, we're using the amazing Genie lift. You guys have seen so many of these water source heat pump unit replacements done on this vlog, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. This unit is an 18,000 BTU or 1.5 ton unit, so Trevor and I can move it around by ourselves, although Dad tries to help us. It serves a x-ray room, which I snuck a little video at the end for you. I had to run out to the truck and the staff here promised me that the alarm would not sound if I went through this door, and luckily it didn't. That's a train you can hear.
We had to unfortunately park our truck on the other side of the train tracks, which really sucks because I've just come to grab something and now there's a train. Why's the train gotta do this to me? It's just stopped.
Luckily, it didn't stay here very long. And luckily, the guys waited for me until I got back before we sent the unit up. Trev's opening those new water valves so carefully. Trev's up to some shenanigans again. It's fun working with your brother. Okay, I got my power wiring and my control cable done.
Okay.
And she's running. She's very quiet. We're all packed up and ready to go. The hazmat team, I guess you call them, is basically waiting for us to finish, and they're coming in right away to take down this tent. Goodbye forever, tent. It was fun. Oh yeah, here is a glimpse of the x-ray room. Oh, well, good morning to you too, jobber. This is a metal factory, so we just have to sign ourselves in and out. One of their HVAC units for their offices is not working today. This roof looks a little flooded. While we're up on the roof opening up the unit, my dad's just gone downstairs to check on the thermostat to see what it's doing. When he came back up, he told us that someone had relocated the thermostat downstairs, so we checked the fuse, and wouldn't you know, it's blown. I had a 3 amp fuse instead of a 5 amp in my pocket, so we just used that to test it. Alright, we've just tested it in heating mode downstairs from the thermostat, and now we're testing cooling. Everything is working as it should. We're just making sure there's nothing else weird here, and it actually just is little fuse. The little fuse. Alright, we're just gonna put a 5 ampere in there, and that'll be done. Now we're heading to the last job of this vlog. We're looking at another 15-ton Lennox rooftop unit. And as we're trying to get there, I'm trying to record everything still, and it's just not working out. Last week, the guys found this unit to be short on refrigerant. So today, we're here to look for some leaks. All right, today we're looking for a leak on this unit, and I think we should start right over here. We got our trusty leak sniffer. Surprisingly, I couldn't find any indication of a leak over here, and I was so sure that this would be a good spot to start. So now I'm just trying to be a little bit methodical with how I'm checking this coil because it's quite big. I'm just gotta go through the whole thing with patience.
It looks like I got a new motor or something.
Well, we found several leaks on this thing. So while Trevor and my dad report to the maintenance office there, I decided I didn't need to crowd the office with another person. So I'll tell you what we've decided. So we found multiple refrigerant leaks on that condenser coil. It's a 15-ton unit. And because of the condition of the rest of the unit and its age, it's about 18 years old, we are probably going to suggest replacing the whole unit completely. Sometimes at this place that we're working, sometimes they want to go ahead with major repairs, like we've done compressors and stuff like that here. But sometimes they're quite particular about just getting the whole unit replaced, especially, like I said, the age and the condition. So, guys are back. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. Highly likely the last one for quite some time, so I'm not sure when I'm going to see you guys again. But if you are interested in my daily adventures and shenanigans, I am still posting every day on Instagram and on TikTok. You can find me on both of those platforms under HVAC Jess. So I hope to see you there. But if not, I hope to see you guys again soon here on the HVAC Diaries. See you later.